Good morning, everyone. Today is 3rd July 2022, Sunday. We are discussing The Hindu. On the front page, we do not have any news important for our exam. Second page, we do not have any important news. So, the first news that is important for our exam is on the fifth page. There are some locations that you should mark on your atlas. Try to find out the location of Harangi Dam and find out on which river it is built. There's another news from Tamil Nadu where it's saying because of less rainfall, because of the continued dry season, the salt production has increased. There's a geographical word used here, salt pan. These are the places where salt manufacturing happens. The next news is very important for environment, can be asked in prelims as well as mains. Chekurunji trees are endemic to Agastyamalaya Biosphere Reserve. Try to locate Agastyamalaya as well. These trees are losing their capacity to reproduce new seeds. Most of these trees are not productive, and it is feared that they will lose their numbers in coming years. There are some of the features of these trees are given in this. You should try to note this down. These are very important for prelims. These trees generally flower in January, but as a result of climate change, they have extended this flowering period. They are also found in solar forests. You should try to find out what is solar forest. One of the reasons for the declining population is inbreeding depression. The local government there have started a program called Save Chain Kurunji, under which they are planting these trees in schools as well as public places. This tree is known to have medicinal properties and used to lower the blood pressure and treat arthritis. They are also used for their strong wood. The next news is about Agniveer scheme of the government, very important for exam in GS paper 3. This article compares the armed forces and CAPFs. As you know, armed forces do not have any reservation policy, but in CAPF, the recruitment is done following the reservation system. So there is a confusion that how these Agniveers will be accommodated and how this 10% reservation will be applicable to them in this. The next news is about USCIRF, Commission for International Religious Freedom. This is an organization based in USA. They most often they keep commenting negatively about India. Recently, they have accused the Indian government of continued repression of critical voices, especially religious minorities. Against this, Ministry of External Affairs has said that this organization is biased and they're not projecting a true objective picture of India. The next news is from Northeast. For a very long time, Northeast has been facing infrastructural issues, the issues of connectivity. It's very important for us to develop or connect Northeast India through various routes. But the article is suggesting that India should now try to explore the foreign countries, the international routes. One of such examples can be that we can find a route via Bangladesh to reach northeastern states. The next news is from Odisha about Sun Temple in Konark. Recently, Archaeological Survey of India had started restoring the Sun Temple's exquisite carvings. Previously, the policy of Archaeological Survey of India was such that Archaeological Survey of India could have used only plain stones to provide the structural support to the buildings. They could not have added any artificial, any geometrical floral patterns from their side. But now in 2014, the policy was changed, the conservation policy was changed, and now it allows ASI to do the exact replicas of the old carvings and protect as well as beautify these temples. The next news is about faunal database. On 1st of July, Geological Survey of India celebrated its 107th foundation day. On this date, the faunal database was released. There are some very important additions into the faunal database. There are some important data that you should try to remember. So one of the new discoveries is a cat snake, which is discovered in Western Ghats in Tamil Nadu. This is a reptile. Similarly, a mammal known as white-toothed shrew has been discovered in Andaman and Nicobar group of islands. The most number of discoveries are made in an order of insects like wasps, bees, and ants. Along with Geological Survey of India, Botanical Survey of India has also released its data, and most of the new discoveries that are done in the botanical department is found in the Western Ghats and Northeastern regions. They have contributed to about 28% of total discoveries. If we look at state-wise numbers, the most of the discoveries are made in Kerala. There are some other terms like angiosperm, bryophytes, lichens, fungus. I will suggest you to read about these in NCRTs as well. Protests have started in Libya, where people have burned their own parliament. The issue at hand was prolonged power cuts, but Libya is going through a political crisis as well, where there are rival administrations and nobody is sure that who is running the country. You should also read a little bit about its former dictator, Gaddafi. The Chinese foreign minister is on a visit to Myanmar. They will be discussing construction of dams on the river Mekong, which is disturbing the ecological balance in the area. You should try to locate the city Bagan on the map of world, which is a World Heritage Site. The first news in science and tech is about the discovery of a new gene responsible for nitrogen absorption in plants. Nitrogen is very important micronutrients for the plants. Sometimes farmers end up adding too much fertilizers into the soil, and which lead to soil pollution and all. So these scientists are trying to find a method by editing some genes so that they can make this nitrogen absorption in plants more effective so that they can grow on less fertilizers. There are some important scientific terms and terminologies like monocots, dicots, hormone auxin. You should read about these as well. The next news is about patent laws in India. Recently, the Economic Advisory Council of the Prime Minister has changed the laws or the rules related to patent laws. The previous patent laws allowed any person to file a pre-grant opposition anytime before the patent office decides to grant or reject a payment application. That means that before, if any company has filed a patent application, other person could have filed an objection to that anytime before the patent office actually grants or rejects the patent. But now Economic Advisory Council have limited the objection period to 6 months. What it will do is it will strengthen the companies and it can lead to the creation of monopolies, because when this period of objection was bigger, many persons, many activists, many groups who are working for people like cancer patients or HIV patients, they fight against the creation of monopolies in the medical field. But this article is suggesting that because of this change, there is a fear that medicines can get costlier. Another news is about antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance is a really big problem for our country. It contributes to about 30% of the deaths due to neonatal sepsis. The development of new antibiotics is a very critical thing that government has to look, because the article is suggesting that most of the big pharma companies are not interested in developing new antibiotics because of certain legal hurdles because of less monetary incentives, because of low return on investment. And that's why most of the antibiotic developments are done by small biotech companies. Because of this, most of the antibiotics will become ineffective. On the frequently asked page, we have a news about G7 development. Recently, India was invited as a special invitees to G7 countries. G7 countries are JUICE, Juicy Girlfriend. So these countries have invited India. In this meeting, USA announced the creation of PGII. India have yet not supported or rejected or have said that it is a part of PGII. There is an reluctance on the part of India to join this initiative. This article is talking about this issue. Another question is about measuring earthquakes. This is a very good article you should read about why earthquake happens, what are the seismic waves, how the earthquakes can be measured, etc. A very important piece of information that you must have is the earthquake zones are divided into 4 zones, but it does not start with 1. It starts with 2 and go on as 2, 3, 4, and 5. On the business page, we have a news about free trade agreements between India and EU. This is an issue which is being discussed for now many years. India and EU is very close to sign a free trade agreement. There's a economic term called cooling of economy. I would suggest you to revise your basics and read about what is a heating or cooling of economy, or try to revise the overall economic cycle. This is the end of today's newspaper. If you support this initiative, share this video, like it, subscribe it, share it. Bye. We'll meet tomorrow again.